Hello and welcome to another video, and in this one we're going to take a look at the precious metals as well as copper on a technical analysis on a long-term level using Fibonacci retracement as well that of Fibonacci upside. There will be two upside levels for each one. As what I noticed with the 161.8% move within the time frame it is used, that it is a decent target level, a bar if you will, but it is only satisfactory. Therefore, I have seen many times that level has little resistance, or in a decent amount of time thereafter later will make it to the second Fibonacci level, which is why I'm going to display two in each one. So without further ado, let's get started with Palladium. Of course, everything is within your own risk and own reward. And whatever you want to do with these numbers, well, that is, of course, up to you. So here we have Palladium in at about $1,060. Now, for myself as a Canadian, it is not this price. It is even higher than such, because if I were to have to buy this precious metal in the tangible form, I have to actually pay sales tax on it, where in gold and silver I do not. So that's over $100 on there, so it's like a $1,200 coin, and that has actually stopped me from buying it. But I've been seeing this move occur, and if you've watched some of my older videos, you know I won't be surprised with the moves in which it has had, as it's the only precious metal, or the only one of the five I'll be going over, that is actually near the all-time highs. It's also got its highs near the .com bubble, whereas all the other ones are going to occur either before or around the 2008 crisis, or with silver and gold, the start of this decade. So I take the high and I use the major lows within the calculation. A 61.8% down move is 311. So this would be 38.2% on the way up. The 61.8% level on the way up is in at 506, a level which was resistance with a big move down, and then not as much resistance in here, getting past up to two Fibonacci levels, but then later finding great support at this level before it has really lifted off at this moment now. So then you have the 76.4%, that's 680, the 85, I think the percent is, but the next key fib level after that is 817. And every number I go after this, the lines get shorter with each point, and it's now short-term levels. So I'm looking for this thing to break above this resistance and maybe have some decent moves, but this major level at about 817 is huge support for anything that comes in this way. Market is well overextended amongst this 2-month time frame, 18 average, and I can't state if it's going to come back here or not. I think it should, but if it doesn't, it should have a decent gain. As far as the upside targets are concerned, I'm going to scroll this up. The first one comes in at that of $2,392. And if the market is able to break through that, and even at times you might just see situations where the market comes up to this point, maybe has some sort of correction back down to 15, 1600, even back to previous level at 1000, come back up here, and then have a similar thing like it did back at this 500 level, settle in there for 2 or 3 periods, and then just burst higher. Bursting past the 2400-ish area, the next key Fibonacci level is in at $8,400. Let's move on next to Platinum. And I'm almost sure, now that I think about this one, that this low was much lower than 333 before. This is a case where Fibonacci levels are kind of working, but not really. Based on this low and this high, these are where the key lines are in, but when the market comes down here with a decent pierce above that, to me, these are, I mean, Fibonacci's working here okay, but it's sporadic to the point where I wouldn't give this too much confidence. However, the upside levels in which it has is at 4,800, and breaking past this is 15,789. I'm going to spend more time with the next 3 markets, which will next be copper. So let's bring that chart up now. And within this one, I did look at this. We can see the lows here at 73 cents. I did a research. I looked back. The lowest I could find was 62 cents as a decent key level from years before this point. When I looked at this, I'm thinking 2003, this could have very easily bottomed at a lower price before then, because I know how the rest of the markets worked, especially silver. And the high in here, I have to use these highs, the first one. And within such, I can see how these levels have been magnificent. Perfect support here. This is the 61.8% down move. And this is the 38.2. So these are the two major levels. So therefore, 61.8, 76.4, 85% here, and then the 90% even. The technical analysis on this, similar to that of Palladium, after a decent move lower, has had a decent size move, extended well amongst the 18 average. I'm going to change this to the monthly time frame. And then, because I want to spend more time amongst this than I do with these three, with gold and silver following. I mean, these levels are working phenomenal. This is just magnificent. Support here, pretty much perfect. No resistance here, fast move to next level. Not much resistance here, support here, fast move to next level. It comes down, but it doesn't hit this level. We can see it did the next time though. Resist here, and then goes through two fib levels. And then it extends it a little bit here, but even since recently, a little bit of consolidation here. Perfect support and consolidation. Perfect resistance and consolidation. And on the liftoff, we're seeing once again some nice perfect resistance consolidation again. And the pattern right now shows as if it looks like possibly it wants to break through. And this is a short-term target right now at 357. This is a long-term video, but I think it's really cool just seeing how these levels are playing out. And as far as where I would expect the upside levels for copper, let's scroll up. The first one is in at that of about $8.87. And breaking above that, we are looking in at about $29.15. We got two more. The next one is gold. And this one has had the most magnificent correction of the bunch, because it hasn't even corrected the 38.2% down move. We got the low in at around 250, and we got a high in at around 1920. The 884 would represent a 38.2% down correction. Be looking at around 500 as the one below it. I don't have a line in there. To me, it's not a next level of support. It's not needed to be displayed. So 76.4, I'm just going now to change the time frame to that of the monthly chart. And I think I could even shorten it out a bit more, either to like a 1 week or 2 week chart. So let me just find a better one. And I'll use the 10-day time frame right now. So here we have a situation where this original Fibonacci level at 1186 was pretty much hit on the nose 2 times in a row. And then it had this really failed move to the downside, but not much of a fast move to follow through. And it's resisting nowhere near this key Fibonacci line. Okay, that's fine. But I'll be very interested to see how this point plays out. Would it be maybe short-term resistance, maybe short-term come back to 1350, and then see how a big 1600 level, which totally coincides with this most previous level of original support from the all-time highs. And again, as I showed originally, from its move of going from 250 to basically close to 1920, or an 8x gain or so, for it to basically not even lose half its value. That's pretty phenomenal. As far as its upside targets are concerned, breaking past this level, the first one is set in at that of $4,170. And getting above that, the second upside Fibonacci level is set in around a little under $15,000. Let's finish this off with silver, which is my favorite precious metal. And I'm going to be using the lows at around $4 and the close to $50 highs. The market has not retraced 61.8%. It has retraced about half of its value, as it is in between, really even between these two key points. It has had perfect support at every single one of these levels on the way down, from the 34, the 27, and the 19. It is currently having perfect resistance within this 19 level and holding above these, within the 18 average of lows. So of course, breaking it above this, you're going to want to look at the 27 and 35 points as your next key handle point. And yeah, so upside targets for that of silver, which if you've been following a lot of the fundamental analysis, there's a lot of silver bugs out there that can make great points to why you want to hold this precious metal. $129 would be the first level I'd be looking for this to go to on a break of the $50 handle. And when I look at this even further, the next key resistance level would come in at $612.48. Now, interestingly enough, as far as the silver market is concerned, I could use either this $50 high or, not shown on this chart, the one from 1980. So when you want to look at a more advanced situation, when a market has been crunched down and stayed within this level for quite some time, then one can make a case that not only would this have a good chance of blasting through or a very easy target level to reach on the breakout, but maybe it's going to break through this one and go to the third Fibonacci upside level. Simply, again, for that that reasoning that I mentioned about having this price still down from its 1980 prices. Thus, within the banking system, it has been quote-unquote manipulated for quite some time. And when the losing control of such an act comes into place, I think we could be living into some very interesting times. Now, it is a huge advantage to know how your own fiat currency is created, how it's backed, how much gold is it backed by. If you conclude that the answer is none to practically none, then most likely we could run into a problematic situation, especially if they charge what they call interest. That is where you have to pay more for loans. And of course, I'm saying this in like I'm trying to teach something you already know, acting like you don't know it. And I know you do. But the whole point is the fiat currency system is such, in my opinion, and many people's as well, a fraudulent system, that we are in a world of great changes. This is what I believe is coming in, and that's why I like cryptocurrencies and precious metals. But most important, the one that's the most favorite to me, of course, is physical 999 silver. I do like the scrap 80%, 90% coins, sterling silvers. It's all great. But whenever I look to accumulate silver, I'm looking for the 999 variety. Thank you for tuning in to this video. I hope it helps. I hope it was entertaining, and anything else of that nature. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.